So, the thought, I'm this body. Most of us know this causes suffering. This causes excessive pain. Why? It's not. It's not really so much. It's not that the thought causes us the pain or the suffering. It's the identity with the thought. But there's always going to be some provisional, some level of identity with the body. Otherwise, the body couldn't exist. So anybody that says, yeah, you can be 100% free, no, there's no identity with anything. I'm just space. I'm non-dual. They're lying. Your body would dematerialize. You'd just be like a skid mark. That's happened before in India, where some people, they start messing around too much with this kundalini and energy work, and you can just burn yourself up. It doesn't happen often, but I'm just saying. So the real thing that we're doing here through evolution, we can't force this to happen. We can cooperate with the process, which is why I think the videos and books and teachers are helpful. Even though that's automatically written in the script, it just facilitates this evolution. The consciousness attracts those things that give form to this accelerative evolutionary process. And then we think we found them. We think we made a decision, like, yeah, I'm really trying to focus on my spirituality right now, so I'm talking to this person or this guru, I'm going to satsang. That's happening in spite of any decision you make. It's your time, so this is what you attract, So what we're really focusing on here, you can say on the non-dual pointings or any spiritual practice, is to help, even any authentic religion, is to break this 100% identity with this feeling and thought that I'm this person, I'm this body. This is what we're doing. We're reducing that. We're dismantling that, dissolving that to a point to where it's the feeling or the sense I am this body is more, what happens, it flip-flops. It's more in the background, this feeling of human existence, etc. You don't want to lose it totally. I mean, what are we going to do then? We can't even talk. But what happens is it starts to recede. Now, most people, it's the opposite. And it has to be like that for a while. If it wasn't, then where would if we didn't suffer this identity, where would come the aspiration to transcend it? So you see, it's like we need duality. We need duality, we need non-duality, we need suffering, we need growth. It's all part of the package. So the flip-flop that I'm talking about is that over time, through evolution, and everybody's going to get this, by the way, at some point or some life, is that the sense that I'm this body is in the background, in the sense that you can say I'm just presence or I'm formless. That's in the foreground. Now, the more that flip-flops, the more you're going to take the package that goes with that. Serenity. You're going to feel more joyful. Things aren't going to get to you so deeply because you don't take them so serious. But there's relative seriousness. You don't, somebody's trying to harm you or your family or friends, you take care of business if you have to. You don't just say nothing exists and family don't exist and hey man, you can't help it, it's karma, I understand. No, you act your role, But the less identity we have with this sense of, person, it's very limited. That's why it causes so much pain. It's just so limited. Like we can't do it. Like I can't do anything. I'm like the consciousness is almost being held hostage in this form. Like I can't go fly around or jump in that ocean and just say stop waves. Or it's very limited compared to like some of the other more subtle planes, astral plane, causal plane. Okay, so the body, the form's limited. But the consciousness isn't limited. The consciousness is playing in this form for a while. It wants to It wants to localize itself, step itself down, so to speak, even though it really doesn't. It's still formless and infinite, but it wants to dream itself into this form for a while. Not that long. What, 70, 80, 90 years? It's not that long. So why? Because then it wants to recognize its true essential nature, which is infinite and formless, while dreaming it's this form. Somebody says, what's the purpose of life? They like that question. What's the why does God and consciousness do this whole thing? That's why. It's like a challenge. Even though it knows it's going to win in the end, it experiences it as though it's a challenge. Like, how can I remember myself? How do I get rid of this obsessive, compulsive, just fixed thought that I'm this human being? You see? So then, God creates the spiritual practice, non-dual and self-inquiry, and Raja meditation, karma yoga, and all kind. There's thousands of different spiritual practices, religions, etc. It's like that will appeal to your particular temperament, and character, and disposition, and level of consciousness, and karma. That would determine which path that you embark on. But they're all, any authentic path, any authentic teaching, religion is all leading to the same, you can say, goal, which is recognizing our source self while the consciousness is still housed in believing and dreaming it's this individual form. So how do you get rid of the I thought, though? So like I said, you can't get rid of it totally. You're not supposed to. It's not God's will that you get rid of it totally. You get rid of it to a sufficient degree, and it's not even you getting rid of it. It just starts to kind of get rid of itself, because consciousness gets tired after a while of being so limited. So then it aspires to transcend it and gets a spiritual practice. So when we talk about these things, we're talking on different levels. Those who still have a strong identification with the human self that needs to wake up, and that's natural, and there's always going to be a tendency to want to wake up more, but you get to where you realize that's part of the matrix virtual reality game. That tendency is also not who you are. Consciousness already is beyond woken up. But while it's dreaming itself to be a limited form, it needs the aspiration and tendency to wake up. So you understand that, and you cooperate with it. You focus more. This is part of the spiritual practice. You focus more on this presence that's not doing anything. You can do it right now. I'm doing it right now. I'm talking, right? But there's something that's inside. It's the talking's happening inside this presence. You can just feel it. You're aware of it. It's just nice. It's like not doing anything. It needs the body and form to act on its behalf. That's why it does it. It's creative. While you're listening to me right now, like you're listening, I'm also listening to me. So you're listening, but the listening's also happening inside the spacious presence that you are. So you're aware that something's listening. You're aware that something enjoys what it's hearing or doesn't. Either way, something's aware of that. You're aware there's a tendency or feeling that resonates. That feels good. He's affirming what I already know. It feels like what I already know is getting stronger now. I like that. And there's awareness of that. There's awareness that, there's a feeling that I like that. The localized consciousness in this form is feeling like it likes that. But you're aware of all that. And you keep trying to you give your attention to that awareness that's aware of all that. This is spiritual practice. This is the quintessential, you can say, core of non-duality, or any real spiritual practice. You start to become more and more accustomed and aware of this feeling of presence. That starts to become, you can say, the localized consciousness new home, as opposed to before the home was this personal identity. That was the home for who knows how long time, way beyond this life. That's why the habit's so strong to continue to identify with it. So that this is what you do. You keep bringing your attention there as often as you can remember. That's all you can do. You can only do the best you can do. And here's a secret. Everybody's always doing the best they can do. How do you not do the best you can do? You see how the show runs itself? That's how it runs itself. Like, what are we doing here? It's all good. There's an appearance that we're doing something and enjoy doing it. And sometimes we forget. We're like identify 100% almost with the doer. That's all right. It's all right. And then that's part of the process. Then you reflect. Something then wakes up and says, whoa, I was dreaming hard. Okay, God, cool. But let's get back into presence. And then you do this. This is the practice. This is everything's fine. You're gonna be good. And yeah, we'll just keep sharing about these things. Have a good day.